they have lost a little of the luster that they had last year. Like with every win that piled up until the losing streak happened, like it was like Colorado's the biggest thing in the news.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It doesn't have that feel this year. Matter of fact, more of the feel is how great Travis Hunter is, and then Shedeur kind of gets the back end of the offensive excellence.
And which, in truth, I mean, Shedeur and kind of Dion highlighted it this week. It's like he should feel a little slighted in the at the end of the day, like this is a guy that will be in the mix for the top pick overall in the draft. He's, him and Cam Ward are probably head and shoulders the top two quarterbacks in this class. And, Travis Hunter's gotten most of the individual accolades and Heisman chatter. But realistically, there's nobody playing that much better than Shedeur that he shouldn't be in that conversation.
Colorado keeps punching along, man.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that damn the TikTok video that we put out. We still get like weekly comments.
Yeah.
And every time they win, somebody will come on there. This aged poorly. but exactly what's happening is exactly what we said would happen in the clip. That they would get off to a very fast start because of the weak schedule. I mean, we said they will pile up some of the wins. It was, quite possible that they would do so. Now, I'm sure they look better than we probably both imagined them to look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, credit to them. They've done pretty damn well. I mean, they had the really one bad game against Nebraska where it looked like last year the line got dominated. They didn't generate much on offense because they couldn't block anybody. But the second loss was a more competitive loss. It was Kansas State. They moved the ball. They looked like a decent football team, but just lost to a better team that day. And other than that, I think it's 6 wins now because they're bowl eligible. And it's been first time in many years that the Colorado's been bowl eligible. And now it's, can you close down the stretch and maybe find your way into the conference title game? That's, that would be the objective. I think with one conference loss, they may need some help. There may be some results that need to go their way that are outside their control. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. They broke it down. If they win out, they're going to make it into the championship game.
Okay.
All right, but that's the thing though. They have to win out there, man, and we'll see. I wanted to look up their remaining schedule.
But I mean, if you look at them, they're still not a very good defensive team, but they're better there. And then offensively, they've been. Shedeur's been elite. They have found a little bit of a running game in most games, and they have just better offensive balance. They're not hurting themselves with a lot of stupid penalties. They're playing the part of a good, solid team right now.
Yeah, man. I'm starting to wonder because usually I just stay away from Colorado games as far as gambling wise, but I may have to put a couple of dollars on them, man.
Go big on them.
Oh no, I'm not willing to do that.
Take your biggest bet of the year and triple it.
No, I can't do that, man.
Put 15 on them.
I've already done that with the 76ers winning it all.
Oh, you did? Well, hey.
Good luck there, right?
Yeah.
They're on a bye week this week.
Colorado?
Hold on. This is going to be the 30. Yeah, they're on a bye week this week.
It'll be November 2nd.
Yeah.
Saturday.
So down the stretch they have Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State, all unranked teams. So we'll see, man.
Yeah.
We shall see.
They're playing well enough that they should approach each of those games thinking they're going to win.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll be a favorite as well.
And none of those teams are having a good enough year that you're like, hey, this is going to be a uphill climb.
Yeah. But you know what's also they have lost a little of the luster that they had last year. Like with every win that piled up until the losing streak happened, like it was like Colorado's the biggest thing in the news.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It doesn't have that feel this year. Matter of fact, more of the feel is how great Travis Hunter is, and then Shedeur kind of gets the back end of the offensive excellence.
And which, in truth, I mean, Shedeur and kind of Dion highlighted it this week. It's like he should feel a little slighted in the at the end of the day, like this is a guy that will be in the mix for the top pick overall in the draft. He's, him and Cam Ward are probably head and shoulders the top two quarterbacks in this class. And, Travis Hunter's gotten most of the individual accolades and Heisman chatter, but realistically, there's nobody playing that much better than Shedeur that he shouldn't be in that conversation.
Yeah. And it's really quiet on his end.
Yeah.
Like they'll put him in the back end of the conversation, whatever, 7th, 8th, or what have you, whatever the updated rankings are. But yeah, Travis is always top 2 or top 3 with the Boise State running back, and that's kind of it.
And when Cam Ward's gotten some attention.
No,
in
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But realistically, I think that it's, should be a 4-horse race for including Shedeur.
Yeah. Is it sort of like a voting thing where like they're going to cancel out each other because it's on the same team and stuff like that?
You had
first place votes.
Back in the day, you had Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart were both among the finalists off the same team. I don't know if there's been another situation close to that lately. At the end of the day, people do have to put. But at the end of the day, I think your Heisman vote. I think you vote like 1, 2, 3. I don't think you just cast a single ballot for the winner. I think, And if I'm mistaken in that, feel free to correct. But I think you're asked to vote, 1, 2, 3, or even maybe a little bit more. In that case, you can vote for both guys, have 1 and the other 2.
Yeah.
You don't have to just I have to go with one candidate and that's it.
And that's it.
And all that kind of factors in. So if I'm correct about that, it shouldn't necessarily like divide the vote any more than it would, from any other candidate in the race.
No, for sure.
Regionally, there always used to be like talk of like regional things where you'd have voters would tend to go with one or the other, and that's kind of it. But I think we're past that, and I think he's a viable candidate. But the Heisman race, it just becomes this like weird campaign.
Yeah.
And it's people talk about it enough, and then you start to perceive, this is the candidate. And this is the guy that's supposed to win, or these are the 2 guys that it's decided upon. But we talked about this in terms of like NFL MVP. I think you play the thing out to the very end and look at what people do. Miami's undefeated. I think they're 4 or 5 in the country. Cam Ward's had a great year, but if they drop 2 games down the stretch, I'm not feeling the same way about him. And if Colorado, by the same token, were to run the table. And then Genty, he's kind of off the radar, like as far as, he has a big public name, but his team success is not, there's not a lot of talk about Boise State as a team or a feeling that, they're overperforming or underperforming. But again, a couple quiet weeks from him, he's going to be out of this thing.
Yeah. You can see the team though is really behind him because like last week, they gave him like 38 rushes or something,
right?
And they barely cracked like 120,
or
something. So they're really going for it for him on the personal
for sure
accolade side.
And the reason, and they got to do that because a Heisman winner at Boise State is the first time that ever happens. Might be the only time it ever happens, but it gives that program a lot more cachet than it has otherwise.
Yeah, it'll help on the recruiting side.
And they know that. Probably they're not going to be win the national title. So this is the one thing we can go get potentially. We've got the best shot at doing this. We have a better shot at getting Genty a Heisman than we do winning the title. So let's go all in for it.
Go all in. And before we move sports here, I said this on another podcast that we were on, so I want to make sure I say it on our podcast. And you disagreed here, but I'm going to double down on it. I think the Florida Gators will beat one of these remaining Titans on their schedule. All right, they got Georgia this week. Georgia's number 2 in the nation. And then the next week following, they have Texas. Texas is number 6. And then after Texas, they have LSU at 15, who's ranked 15. So I do think Florida is going to defeat one of those 3 Titans there, man. And I couldn't tell you which one. This week, they're about 17-point underdogs. I think that's ridiculous. I threw a ton of money on that. And we'll just go from there, man. I can't wait to see this game. Unfortunately, we have a game at 4.
Yes, we do.
So I'll be on my phone for the most part while you have me on the bench, and I'll be watching it. So yeah, but yeah, I can't wait because I think the Georgia is the game.
Really?
But yeah, I do.
I would say, I mean, to me, LSU's the easiest target there.
Yeah, I mean whatever, because they're the yeah. But
I just don't think they're at the same level that the other two teams are at.
for sure. No, that's for sure. But I think Georgia is vulnerable, and we have a former running back there that left our team for greener pastures, and I just don't think it's that green over there. and we'll see this weekend, man. That's all I have to say. We'll see. But again, it's just one of the three. I'm not saying Georgia is the game.
But with this level of optimism, are you like Billy Napier's our guy? We got to roll with him till the wheels fall off.
No. I'm firm in that it just depends. It depends on if the players, if DJ is saying, if Billy goes, I go, then we keep Billy, and it's really not.
Did you ever see Hoosiers?
Yeah. That's a classic. Yeah. That was sort of the deal there.
Coach stays, I play. Coach goes, I go.
And it's not as much to say if Billy goes, I go, like I'm attached to Billy.
Yeah.
A lot of players just leave when there's a coaching change. That's just normal.
Because you don't know where things are going to shake out for you individually.
And that's what I mean by that.
Well, but I would say this: if he does what you think he's going to do and win one of these next 3 games, I think he's secure in the job.
Well, you have to beat Florida State as well, and you can say whatever. That's whatever.
No,
but you even if he beat one of these 3 and then you lose against Florida State, I mean he's out. So I mean,
if he beats Georgia, he could lose the rest of the year and he stays.
Nah. Hell no.
That's what I'm saying.
0% chance. You can't lose against Florida State this year. I don't care what happens.
Yeah.
And that's not a fan speaking. That's just literally you've lost to Florida State every year you've been here. That's your biggest rival. You can't. That just doesn't happen in college sports.
I think a Georgia win would save him regardless. But I don't think he's going to beat Georgia though.
Yeah, it's a tall task. I'm just saying one of the 3. I'm not saying he's going to beat Georgia either.
No, I think that LSU game could be won. They stayed right in with Tennessee, had a chance to win that game, didn't quite get it done. I think LSU is probably below a level of Tennessee overall, but I do think Georgia and Texas are a level above. Things would have to go, perfectly to win one of those 2 games.
Yeah,
in my
Georgia or
estimation.
Texas.
Yeah, Georgia or Texas. But as a Gator fan, like, do you, do the players sound like they're locked in with Napier?
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, they do. But and to his credit, the one thing he has done is created a phenomenal culture there, and it took him a couple of years to weed out a bunch of players, like Travis over there at Georgia and things like that. Like we went through a pretty deep overhaul, and players that were just not buying in, and now he has that culture there, and all of the players are buying in. They always sing his praises and things of that nature. So they are bought into that system and culture,